Hello everybody! The Savior's Army is available for pre-order in ebook, paperback, and hardback. And if you submit your proof of pre-order to this email address, you will get 3 free digital gifts. These gifts include a sneak peek of the first 6 chapters of the Savior's Army, a beautiful colored map of the Ally Realms, and a beautiful illustration of a scene from the Savior's Army. Pre-order a copy, submit your proof of pre-order, and get yourself some gifts. You'll be glad you did. On to today's topic, I am breaking down how much it cost to publish my book, The Savior's Army. A bit of background, I am a hybrid author. That means some of my books are traditionally published through a publishing house, and some of my books are self-published, which means that I publish them myself. If you are signed to a traditional publishing house, you should not spend a single dollar on publishing your book. I traditionally published my recent writing craft book, How to Write Romantasy, which means that cost me $0. Your publishing house should foot the bill. If you are paying them, that means they are a vanity press, which is more or less a scam. However, if you self-publish a novel, you don't have a publishing house to pay for things. That means you have to pay for all the services necessary in order to turn your novel into a product for consumption. I self-published The Savior's Army, which means I had to pay for certain services in order to make my book publishable. I am breaking down those costs today to give you an idea of what you can expect if you decide to self-publish a novel in the future. For total transparency, I am only listing the necessary costs for publishing The Savior's Army. By that, I mean I'm listing all of the costs that I absolutely had to pay in order to publish this book. These steps are 100% pivotal to the process, at least if you want to release a quality product. I will not be listing any of my costs associated with extras or marketing, which basically means all the extra stuff I paid for to help promote The Savior's Army. If you'd like a video about all of the marketing costs I incurred, let me know in the comments below. I will be happy to deliver. Now let's dive into how much it cost me to publish The Savior's Army. Again, these are the steps you should not skip. They will make all the difference between a publishable book and a big pile of crap that no one wants to read. Cost number 1, the professional edit. $2,300. A professional edit with a professional editor is 100% necessary when you publish a novel. If your book isn't professionally edited, it is not finished, period. If you go with traditional publishing, your publishing house will hire an editor for you. But if you self-publish, you have to find and hire that editor yourself. The rate you pay will depend on the type of edits as well as your word count. Typically, editors will charge per word of your manuscript. The Savior's Army is roughly 140,000 words, so $2,300 is pretty fair given the lengthy word count. The rate you pay an editor might be lower than what I paid. Most books aren't quite as beefy as mine, but either way, the professional edit is not the place to penny pinch. It's important to hire someone with experience who will polish your novel to a shine. Cost number 2, professional cover art, $250. This cost refers to my ebook, paperback, and audiobook cover, as well as my hardback jacket. Cover art prices will vary depending on the type of art you're soliciting. If you're going for an illustrated cover, which means the artist is drawing everything by hand, then the price is going to be more expensive. I usually see illustrated covers anywhere within the $600 to $2,000 price range. However, most book covers are made by manipulating stock photos, layers, and fonts, and these book covers tend to be a lot cheaper. You'll see prices as low as $30 to as high as $500. Because of this, I would say that the rate I paid is pretty standard. It's almost exactly within these two extremes, and there are a lot of comparable cover design companies out there with similar rates. I am super happy with how the cover of The Savior's Army turned out, and I had a great experience with my designer, AC Graphics. She was so wonderful to work with. She was fast, she was easygoing, she was so creative, and the work she created was really beautiful. I am just in love with this cover. Cost number 3, formatting, $0. Formatting refers to getting the pages of your book properly aligned and formatted both for the ebook and the physical copies. And you have a few options when it comes to formatting your book. You can hire a designer to format your pages, which can be pretty time consuming, it can be expensive, and it'll make it difficult for you to make any changes to the book in the future. You can format the book yourself using a program like Microsoft Word, which is a bit and a half. I have seen a lot of people do it and really struggle, and then in the end, their book looks like or you can purchase professional formatting software, which is what I personally recommend. I use Vellum. I use it for all of my self-published books. It is extremely easy to use. You do not need to be tech savvy or artistically inclined at all. And the formatting looks really professional. You can't tell the difference between a Vellum book and a traditionally published book. You also only have to buy the program once, and then you can use it on as many books as you want, which is why I didn't pay any money to format The Savior's Army. I already had the program. If you're interested in Vellum, I have an affiliate link in the description below. I cannot say enough great things about this program. It is an absolute godsend. Right now, Vellum is only available for Mac users, so if you're a PC user, I believe the comparable program available is Atticus. I haven't used it myself, but I've heard good things. Cost number 4, copywriting the book. $45. While your book is technically considered copyrighted the moment you've written it, it's still a good idea to get it formally copyrighted at eco.copyright.gov, at least if you're publishing it in the United States. If you're publishing it somewhere else, I don't know what you're supposed to do, Google it. Copywriting is a pretty easy process. You can do the entire thing online, and it only cost me $45 to copyright The Savior's Army. Cost number 5, proof copies. $32.30. After you upload your book to different publishing platforms, you'll have the option to receive proof copies. Proof copies are physical copies of your book that you receive ahead of time to make sure that it looks all right and there aren't any lingering mistakes. I ordered 3 proof copies of The Savior's Army, 2 paperbacks and 1 hardback, and that cost me $32.30. If there are any mistakes in the proof, that means you're going to have to go back to those publishing platforms and fix those mistakes. Fortunately, I did not have to deal with that because then I would have to order even more proofs. Lovely. If there are mistakes with the proofs, you would just need to go back to the publishing platforms and correct those files, and if you like, you can order even more proofs. And lastly, cost number 6, Ingram Spark updates. $50. Ingram Spark is one of the distributing platforms that writers use in order to self-publish their books. You upload your files to Ingram Spark, and then they will go ahead and distribute your book to different retailers. If you find any issues in the files that you've uploaded to Ingram Spark, you have to go ahead and fix those files and re-upload them. And every re-upload costs $25. I did find a few typos during my proofread of The Savior's Army, which meant that I had to go ahead and re-upload the formatted pages of both the paperback and the hardback. Thus, I paid $50 to fix typos, which further proves that typos are the f***ing worst. This brings my total cost to $2,677.30. In my opinion, this is a pretty standard amount of money to spend on self-publishing a novel. It might even be slightly on the low side considering how long the book is. I tend to believe that $3,000 is a safe estimate when self-publishing a book. Again, keep in mind that my books are usually pretty long, which is going to make a difference regarding editing costs. If your book is shorter than mine, then you can probably expect to spend less on the professional edit, but in regard to the other expenses, everything was pretty standard. Since I typically aim for a $3,000 budget, $2,700 is pretty great. I'm happy with it. Based on my experience and the experience of my peers, I would say this is a pretty normal amount of money to spend, at least if you are trying to release a quality novel and you're taking all the necessary steps to make it as professional as possible. So that's all I got for you today. The Savior's Army is available for pre-order right now, and if you submit your proof of pre-order to this email address, you will get 3 gifts as a thank you for your support. So go ahead and pre-order, it's linked below. And be sure to check out How to Write Romantasy. It's available at all major retailers. It is so helpful for anyone who's looking to dive into the romantasy genre. I also have it linked below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Wednesdays and I host live streams on Mondays. And if you want to be alerted as soon as I upload, ring that bell. Bye! Have you subscribed to my channel yet? I mean, you totally should. I post new videos on Wednesdays. I also host live streams on Mondays, and they're super fun. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel and be sure to ring that bell. That way you're alerted as soon as I post new content.